Hey, you guys, I'm popping back in right quick. I wanted to speak about a little bit of the election. It's just like the Diddy situation. We're going to be here for a long time as well. Of course, we all know who the president is. I don't want to give him too much more action because he has enough action as it is already. But we know who the president elect is at this time. I would really want to say that I think it needs to be investigated further. Um, the person that we know him to be, the person that we know that he is and has been, and you can never teach an old dog new tricks. I firmly do not believe that this election was won entirely just because of the Latino votes, just because of a lot of the Black votes. I don't believe that. I believe there's something else bigger at play here. And I would truly just hope that our government that is currently in place would definitely take a step further to look into what all is at play here. There are a lot of clapbacks going around online about them actually getting ready to implement, Project 2025. Anything can be hacked. That was from Elon Musk, I've heard. A lot of clapbacks, even down to the text message going around telling blacks to report for slavery. So it's a lot of clapbacks, a lot of, back talking as far as, pretty much we got next, we won, we're in here, and we're about to, wreck everything for you guys. You have to do what we say, da da da. Like they're just so in control. I would simply just like to say, it definitely needs to be investigated further. We definitely don't need to take this laying down as if nothing happened. And when you're fighting up against the devil, you can't just do battle with regular equipment. You got to get down and dirty with him and drag him like he's never been dragged before to let him know that you know what's up with him and you know the game and he needs to be exposed. I just want to get that message out today because we don't need to take this laying down and we don't need to go down easily. Based off of my sources and from what I've heard, there will be a lot of legal things taking place to try to shut down a lot of the things that we understand that he'll be trying to attack. And as it should, they need to get him before he even gets close to the White House. Um, it really needs to be looked at. It really needs to be definitely, handled legally because just because you have been given that office yet again, and we all know it was not very well deserved at all, um, it needs to be taken a look at before it gets to that level. Because from what we're seeing and understanding now, with everything that's in place, it would crash everything that America has been about for the people. I would also like to say, for the ones that did vote for him, I truly always try to push for and tell people to, educate yourselves, research, study, do all that you can to understand what's really going on. Don't just go with the hype of what you see, of what mainstream is doing, or what people are saying. What do you think? What do you understand? What have you went and studied and researched for yourself to understand? Um, what are the implications of voting for such person if you vote for them? I believe he got what he got based off of popularity. He was a celebrity person, real estate tycoon, fake tycoon before even coming into politics or whatever. So I think a lot of that has a lot to do with him being elected. So with that being said, that was the driving force of him getting to where he's at, and people are voting for him based off of that, not really having true numbers as far as like, yeah, he has done this and he's done that. You know, it's it's not none of that. It's about popularity when it comes to him. Like when they were, doing the debates, they wanted Kamala Harris to, defend, what she believes in, what laws and policies can she change, explain this, explain that, but he gets to go dance and have a good time and not explain anything. So that tells us right there, she's a black woman. You want her to explain herself. Him, he gets to entertain you guys because he's always been a celebrity with his shows and real estate. Again, we found out so much about who this person really, truly is. So I would definitely continue to say, just continue to, if you haven't, start researching, reading, looking for information. Go to the libraries. Hell, we have Google online. There's nothing that you can't find or want to get information about. If you want to know, you can find out. I don't think a lot of people took the book seriously, Project 2025. They're thinking it's all a joke. Now there's a big fallout of Latinos getting ready to get deported. If they actually use that playbook to implement immunity to police officers, what can happen to a lot of Blacks? How it can affect people's home stability? A lot of different programs for Blacks as far as their living arrangements, like their living situations. A lot of different things are at play here, and I just don't think a lot of people knew. They hadn't read, they hadn't researched. They're pretty much going off of what the climate of everybody is saying. They're not looking for themselves. And not that I want to call anybody ignorant, but it is ignorance if you don't go and research and you sit here and just play along with what everybody else is saying to you. If you sat and voted for popularity, that was definitely the wrong move because I'm sure for the Latinos, they're now realizing they don't know what they've just done. I'm sure if they had have known that this was going to be happening to them, they would have chose differently. However, I want to circle back around again and say, I don't believe that it's all the Latino votes. I don't believe it's all of the Black votes. I believe something else is at play here. And they were able to use the demographics of, showing who did vote for whatever, like how they showed most of the Black women, we voted straight Kamala. We blew it out of the water for her. But all the other ones that lagged behind and didn't vote as much for her, they're showing the demographics of that. Okay, that may be the possibility, but I just don't believe it's all on them, which is why I said earlier in the video, I believe that they need to go back, dig and dig deep, because as we know, we are dealing with a narcissistic person here, and narcissists don't play fair. They don't do anything the right way. We've already heard his track story. Everything he's ever done, he cheated to get it done. Uh, the whole tax situation, inflating his property value on his properties, lying on his taxes, and believed to have cheated the first time in the first election. So I know good and well we're not about to start believing today that this election was a clean sweep. Yes, people probably voted how they voted according to the demographics, but there's something else bigger at play that needs to be investigated and looked at to see what really happened in this election. I mean, I just don't believe that this was a whole fair win. But I just want to pop back in, to, mention that, bring that to the forefront because a lot of people are talking. People like to say conspiracy theory. I do believe we're living in a time now to where everything is like front and center for us all to see it. And there's no way that everything can be a conspiracy theory and we're sitting here living it. We're sitting here watching it. We're watching things unfold right in front of our very eyes. And people are still saying conspiracy theory because it hasn't been proven. Some things you need to know intuitively. Some things you just need to know spiritually to really get and see, yeah, something's going on here, especially when it has to do with people's livelihood and the way things have been going. So to fully tank it and turn everything upside down to make the rich rich and create an oligarchy like what Putin has in his country and in other countries, you're trying to do the same thing here? No. I don't think we should just take this laying down and just take it to be where, oh, we lost. We're just going to have to keep on keeping on. No. He needs to be stopped before he even gets to where he's going next. I will honestly say that with all of my heart and all of my soul. So I'm going to leave you with a few videos that speak to the very thing that I'm speaking about to give a little bit more insight. And I hope you guys continue to have a great weekend. But as I always say, research, read, look for yourself. Don't just go by what you're seeing on mainstream. YouTube is here for a reason to educate you, to give you a different look outside of what we've always seen as the norm and what everybody else just says. Compare everything to, compare everything. Look for yourself. Check out the conspiracy theories. Check out how did we even get to having a conspiracy theory. The conspiracy theory happened for a reason because something happened somewhere else to make that even possible. It didn't just happen out of the blue on its own for people to say, well, what about this? What about that? They saw something, heard something, and know something that actually possibly 10 times out of 10 happened to bring them to that. But because they don't have all of the information, doesn't mean that it's not true. So I always say educate yourselves, research, go deep, go down the rabbit hole to find out what's all going on. But like I said, we will definitely continue to stay tuned as to what's going on next in our world and what's happening. And as I continue to get real information from my sources to understand and unpack what's happening, I will definitely be back to bring it to you guys. I will see you in the next video.
You got knocked the f*** out, man!
What's going on, y'all? What it is. So let's go ahead and slide on these topics. And the first thing I want to discuss is the election. Now, this is not my full thought process. I'm just on here because I want to share with you guys some very beneficial information as it pertains to the election, right? Now, the one thing that I will say is that I'm going to have class. For those of you who follow me tight, you follow me on Instagram, you guys know that I was very upset about the outcome of the election. Now, as an independent, right, because I'm not registered as a Democrat or a Republican, I am an independent thinker, always have been, always will be. Now, I'm going to say this because this thought kept lingering in the back of my mind ever since Biden dropped out of the race and Kamala picked up the baton to begin running for POTUS. I was thinking to myself, like, if a woman who clearly has privilege in Hillary Clinton didn't win the presidency, how in the hell do we expect Kamala to win the presidency, right? But I'm going to be honest here. I was holding on to a little bit of glimmer of hope, thinking that America was ready for change and that change could be possibly the first woman president to ever grace the White House in the history of the United States of America. But clearly I was wrong because this country and globally, they're so misogynistic. They don't feel that a woman is strong enough to be at the helm of a nation. Of a country rather. So it's just unfortunate that we haven't got past that thought process. Now, I'm gonna say this. If you voted for Trump, that's your business. If that's your guy, it is what it is. I'm not gonna criticize you. I'm not gonna ridicule you. I'm being a big boy today. I put on my big boy pants and I strap my boots up tight, right? And I understand that that is your right to exercise and do whatever you feel is best for you and yours. But the reason why I'm down with Harris and Walz is one particular thing that mattered the most to me, and that was protecting women and protecting my sisters in particular, based off of the horrific fact that Black women are more subject to pass away when giving birth than any other race. And so it's pretty clear and evident to me that the Latinos, the YT men and women, and some of my own people, they really don't care about the health of Black women. Let's just keep it all the way 100. They voted against Black women in this election. Not everybody, not all. You have good people within the Latino community and the YT community. And shout out to us because at least 78% of the men voted with 92% of the Black women. They voted on the right side of history, in my estimation. Now, a lot of Trump supporters are very dismissive and they try to deflect when you bring that up. And their number one comeback is, well, it's up to the states, as if that's a good response. It shouldn't be up to the states. It should be up to the woman. It's her body and her choice. And I firmly believe that. Because when they institute this national ban when he gets back in office, because trust and believe me, it's gonna happen, all right? It's gonna happen. It's gonna affect Black women the most when it's a national ban, because it's already been affecting Black women in a negative way before they even started banning the option in some states. So what do you think is gonna happen when they make it a national ban? I just feel like people voted for their best interest and they just left Black women to fend for themselves. That's how I truly feel about this situation, you know? Now, there's another point that I want to drive home, and it has to do with the border. Y'all, I gotta keep it real. There is an issue at the border. Now, you could just tell by the way Latino men and women voted in this election. They have the power to outvote Black people. They make up 16% of this country. We only make up 13% of this country. Look forward to 13 to 15 years, how the demographic is going to look like then. Now, I'm going to say this, but before I say this, let me preface my comments by saying it's not all Latinos. I've seen so many Latinos on social media upset at the fact that some of their people voted for Trump. But As it pertains to YT people, we know how they operate. They'll tell us one thing and get up in that voting booth and do another thing. And again, let me reiterate, it's not all YT people. You got YT people that's fighting a good fight as well. But it's so disrespectful to me as a black man to see illegal immigrants come over here to this country, get their green card within 1 to 2 years, and then they're able to vote against the best interests for black people. It's just really disheartening to me when you have like our ancestors that fought for our rights and made it so that people that are not from this country, that when they get here and do things the right way, that you now have rights as a US citizen. And then you want to turn around and vote against our best interests. Like, some of them are just the ops. It's plain and simple. They're the opposition. They told you who they were during this election. Look at it, take it for what it is, and believe them. Believe them all. All we have, y'all, is each other now. And this should bring our community together. We should stop being so divisive. We should stop being so ill will towards one another and disrespecting one another, going back and forth online. The black woman don't like the black man. The black man don't like the black woman. This should unite us like never before, because now we should see that it's us against everybody. Now, I could go on and on about this election, but I'm going to save the rest of my commentary about the election until after the 13th, and I'm going to do that for a reason. But I want to get into this whole thing because a lot of people feel that this election is off. A lot of people feel that this election was stolen. In fact, Joe Rogan exposed the fact that Elon Musk knew that Trump was going to win the election 4 hours before it was called because he created an app to keep up with the election. That's suspicious as hell, right? Then also you have people saying that there's a system that was used called Starlink to tally up the votes. Then on top of that, you have many folks that are pointing out the fact that it's been extremely quiet on Trump's side ever since he won the election. Normally, Trump likes to gloat and brag and things of that nature, but he's been quiet. And guess who else has been quiet? Kamala. A lot of people feel that Kamala is behind the scenes getting the case together to cite election fraud. So what I want to do right now is play you guys these clips. I told you before that these clips are long, but they're well worth it. And then immediately following those clips, I'm going to give you the information that slid across my desk as it pertains to Diddy and his mother and Kim Porter and things of that nature. So sit tight and I'll be back.
Beginning of the night, no one knew what was going to happen. So you're watching the first results roll in, and there's like this weird thing. And then Trump gets way ahead, but you're like, you don't want to like get too hopeful. Like, how far ahead is he? He's ahead by 100 points. That seems like a lot.
Yeah, and you're like, what is it? And some channels are like, and then every channel's kind of different.
Yeah. They had different numbers. I was getting a different number off my Apple News update than I was getting off of CNN. And then I was texting people like Tulsi and JD Vance. I was getting a different Apparently, Elon created an app and he knew who won 4 hours before the results. So as the results were coming in, 4 hours before they called it, Dana White told me, Elon was like, I'm leaving. It's over. Donald won. He just somehow or another.
I'm going to go back into my pod and evaporate.
I don't know what he's getting, where he's pulling his data from, but he had like the most accurate data in terms of the rural states hadn't put the results in yet, but yet Trump was ahead in these states. Kamala's never going to win those states, so tabulated that and like put it all together. I don't know how he did it. But
yeah,
Dana. I haven't even talked to Elon about this. I don't know like the Dana translation, but Dana said he had an app, and he was like showing him. He's like, it's over.
And
Get left. Dude just left.
It's over. John Jones won. Just saying that.
He just left.
Hi, you guys. Look, I really debated whether or not I was going to sit here and talk about this. I thought about it long and hard yesterday. I know that this is probably going to cause controversy or this is going to cause whatever. And to be quite honest with you, I'd much rather lose and people know than not do anything and sit on it, okay? This was brought to my attention yesterday from a friend of mine. His name is Mr. Mr. Wheezy 100, and he's an engineer. I'm not going to get into information about him, okay? And he brought this to my attention because, you know, he also understands that, you know, I have my CCIE. You know, I've been a programmer and a networker for the past almost 11 years, you know, for networking and computers and all those, you know, all those other things. With that being said, it was brought to my attention, and I'm gonna, at the end of this video, make sure you watch the whole entire thing. Please post it, boost it, because I'd rather lose and, you know, lose whatever I need to in order to get the information out than to not say anything and sit on it, because I absolutely refuse to be like this. This is a give back to my dad and, you know, everything that he went through. Anyways, with that being said, he sent me a video letting me know that California and other swing states were able to use Starlink in order to tally up and to count ballot votes, or voting ballots in their state. Okay? There's a multitude of issues with that, and I'm going to explain to you why. And I'll explain to you in layman's terms, because you have to understand, when it comes to computer programming jargon, you guys are not going to understand what the flying F I'm talking about, okay? So anything that you guys don't understand or you want more clarification from, please message me. I have no problems explaining it to you. With that being said, okay, you also have to understand that when it comes to Starlink, okay, Starlink is a, you know, it's an IPv4, it's an IPv6. Basically what that means is that it's a specific satellite link-up system that sends signals to whatever it's hooked up to. Doesn't matter what it is, like a normal internet connection, right? With that being said, two things. Number one, why in the flying freaking flap, okay, were voting ballot boxes or whatever, you know, the places where you go to vote, why were they connected to the internet? There is absolutely zero reasons as to why those systems were connected to the internet. Those machines have absolutely no problem tallying up votes like they have done since the beginning of time. Now, all of a sudden, he wants to come in here and talk about, oh, well, I'm going to go ahead and help you because I know, you know, there's a lot more people voting and it's going to be difficult. This and this and that. There's not a lot of people that you volunteer to help. Blah, 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 blah. You know, let me help you to tally up the votes in order to be able to help you guys and make things easier for you. Oh, what a sweetheart you are. What a sweetheart you are. But for those of us who know the business, we're not dumb. Okay? So again, you have to understand that when it comes to Starlink, okay, Starlink is a tri-band Fi6 system. Okay, like I said before, it sends signals to whatever it's hooked up to and bounces back and forth, and this and that. You know what I'm saying? It's a basic system, highly intelligent AI process system, right? And with that being said, it's amazing, to be honest with you. I mean, I'm not going to take away the fact that this man is a genius, okay? And I will say that, but genius in a lot of ways. Again, with that being said, you also have to understand that when you are using a Linux operating system, which is what Starlink also is, okay? This is going to be difficult to explain, but I'll try the best that I can. When you are sending signals back and forth to expel or to read information, right? The information that's being read, it's not normal information. So in other words, it's not a normal internet connection. Like irregular internet connections, it's a broad span of all different types of information. Doesn't matter what it is, what you're looking up, you know, 50,728 things that come in and out of the fucking signal and processes it and allows it to bounce back and tell you whatever answer that you need, right? Okay, straight. Now, with Linux systems, there is no fucking way, unless you are processing different systems and different programming to the Linux BIOS in order to bounce back the information that you're getting. In other words, the information that you're getting has to be the same repetitive thing. So in other words, if you're gonna process this and you're going to tally up whatever, right? It's only going to process one specific thing. In other words, so let's say you're going to separate it, right? Okay, we're only going to separate this system so that way it only reads Dem votes, or it only reads, Republican votes, or only reads, Libertarian vote, or whatever, right? To separate each one in order to count things correctly, in order for that to be correct, right? No. You have to understand, Linux systems do not work that way. It is a 4x4 minim system that only works bilateral based on what information it's fed. One thing to bounce back. So if you're counting something, it can't separate them. Is this making sense for you? You can't separate what it's counting. So with that being said, he would have had to separate his processing system. He would have had to have sent 3 different types of gens. Gens are different operating systems that separate between the linkage signal, right? In order to switch what it's doing. So with that being said, okay, he sent it down. He read a certain amount of certain votes, right? Sure, okay, that's fine. But that's not what you did. The whole entire time that you were using this system and you were using it to tally votes, you were using a Linux system. It doesn't split. It doesn't split. So how in the were you counting things correctly when you weren't even able to separate what it was that you were counting? Is this making sense to anybody? No? Maybe? I don't, bro. I'm telling you. And not only that, this is why the numbers don't make sense. This is why the numbers don't make sense. And the reason why I'm going to tell you that is because, first of all, you had guaranteed states that were going to turn blue and didn't. Then you have millions of things that are missing. Now you have people that are all over the United States that are looking up their things and are stating that they were not received or processed. Do you get what I'm saying here? Do you see what I'm saying to you? Because this right here is bull. I don't care how smart of a programmer you are. You cannot splice your own networking system to do what it's not designed to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? If you don't, again, message me and I'll explain it to you even further. I only have a couple more minutes. I want to play this video for you. If I don't have enough time to play the whole thing, I will repost it or I will send it to you myself. And not, like I said, and then the places that he sent Starlink to were only to swing states. Man, come the on, bro.
Let me make sure I've got this right. Last time he lost the popular vote essentially by almost 8 million. And this time he won the popular by almost 5 million. So you want me to believe that this guy, who already lost last time, who lost the popular vote in 2016 and 2020, got 13 million votes more popular after January 6th, after 91 felony indictments, after 34 felony convictions, after espionage charges, after the E.G. and Carroll assault rulings, 2 of them, 2 juries, after his CFO went to prison twice, after every lawyer that ever met him got disbarred and half of them put in jail. His rallies were smaller than they've ever been. And even in venues that were 5,000 and 7,000, he couldn't fill them. And people were leaving before they were over. And he's 13 million votes more popular? I don't buy it. Sorry, I don't know if that's what y'all want to hear or not, but I don't buy it, man. I don't buy it any more than I buy him saying that 100,000 people turned out to his New Jersey rally when it was proven that the space only holds 30,000 and wasn't full. I don't buy it any more than him saying he got shot by an AR-15 bullet, but his ear magically healed, and there's not even a scratch or scar to show from a bullet this big hitting him in the ear. I don't buy it. I just don't. I don't buy any of it. I think. I don't know. I'm not cocky. I'm not cocky enough to tell you what's happening, but I don't buy this. And I'm interested to see if the real United States government is going to buy it. I still have faith in my government to do what has to be done to handle these people. Donald Trump is a Russian asset. He is. And if you don't believe that, it doesn't make it less true. If you are a low information voter and you don't understand what I'm saying by that, it doesn't make it less true just because you don't know information or understand. You can go, I'm not Russian collusion. Hey, America, patriot. You being stupid doesn't make it not true. He's a Russian asset. He hired a Russian agent to run his 2016 campaign. One of the things the guy went to jail for was for being a Russian agent and not registering as a Russian agent. That was one of his charges. His job right before working for Trump was to work for a pro-Russia Ukrainian candidate who got run out of the Ukraine for being a Russian and fled to Russia. When Paul Manafort came to work for Trump, he owed Oleg Deripaska $60 million. But he came to work for Donald Trump for free. I mean, I can list 10 other connections to Russia. But I mean, Elon Musk with his Starlink satellite internet, Russia said, hey, we want you to shut it off over Ukraine so they can't use it, but we can use it to attack them. And he did. And he did the same thing for China in their situation with Taiwan. They're both having regular conversations with Russia. These guys are Russian assets. This whole thing, this whole Trump thing going back a long time, this is all Russia. Every bit of it. And if you're supporting it, you're an idiot. You're one of the dumbest people in American history. You're an unwitting Russian pawn. And even though I'm telling you this to your face, and you have a supercomputer in your pocket that you could go research it with, you won't, because you're that stupid. You'd rather double down on your mistake than admit how stupid you are, and that's a shame. That's pitiful. You're not a patriot. You're an idiot.
Reality is, it's something to witness, bro. It's something to really just truly just take in. Because I came across this interview, right? You have Mario and Maria, who came from Guatemala, okay? And they come here to the States and they get married and they have 3 kids and they talking about, oh, we live in the American dream, right? We live in the American dream.
Mario and Mireya Alvarez found the American dream in Las Vegas. They came to the US from Mexico and Guatemala in the 80s. With his job in a supermarket and her job in a casino, they bought a house and raised 3 children.
Well, we come to find out that Mario voted for Kamala, that he was going back and forth, whether to Trump or Kamala, that he eventually settled with Kamala. As crazy as that may sound, okay, as cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs that may sound, you a Latino from Guatemala deciding, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. Hold on, I don't know which one. Despite Kamala losing, he says he's happy. He says the whole family's happy. Now, I'm thinking to myself, ¿por qué? ¿Por qué, amigo? Huh? What are you talking about, you happy? I'm very curious. Why are you happy? He goes and says, well, because I think he's going to bring back the economy, okay? That's what he's going to do. He really cares for the country.
But today, he's not upset about the results.
I'm kind of like more happy than upset. Why? Because Donald Trump is going to help the country with the economy.
The whole household is happy.
Now, I have no issue with that, okay? I really have no issue with that because that is a sentiment that is ubiquitous, to be honest with you. And it's clearly shown in the exit polls. So I can't fault him for that feeling. Can't fault him. I think that's something that was a very glaring issue when it came to Kamala. But then we get to his son, and he asks his son, hey, who'd you vote for? And his son is like resounding, I voted for Trump. I voted for Trump. Now, after he says he votes for Trump, he then goes and tells us and lists off quite intelligently all the policies and the legislation that he thinks that Trump is actually going to pass in his next term. And he's very excited. He didn't say that. Okay. He didn't say any of that, bruh. He didn't say any of that. Do you want to know why this man voted for him? Because he liked his bravado. He liked that he said what he said and didn't apologize for it.
Mireya and their 29-year-old son Mario Jr. did vote for Trump.
Initially, I will say I did not agree with him. And then I started seeing that he was not afraid to speak his mind. And I noticed that he was not scared to say what he felt, regardless of what people would say. And I think I respect that about him.
What?
So you liked his kind of brashness, his personality?
Yeah, I would say yes.
When I tell you we are cooked, okay? One of the biggest issues that I would argue that Democrats are facing is that they are underestimating the stupid of the country. Just is what it is. They are underestimating the stupid of the populace, all right? When we live in idiocracy, you can't be talking about, well, this policy is going to do that, and this policy is going to do this, and this none of that matters, okay? Feelings don't care about your facts. In this country, if we look at all the elections, it has to deal with, do I like this guy? Huh? Do I trust this guy? Is this guy cool? That despite everything that was thrown at Trump, that, hey, he did SA, right? That, hey, he lied about January 6th. That, hey, he lied, he's got, a felon, right? That all this stuff that they threw, that it didn't matter. Didn't matter. Okay? Because they liked that, hey, how he held himself. Then it gets to the cherry on top of this stupid Sunday, and it is, it's a behemoth of a stupid Sunday. Because then we come to find out that little old Maria and little old Mario are illegals. They came into the country illegally and were granted amnesty by Ronald Reagan.
Mario and Mireya both crossed the border illegally as teenagers, but became citizens under President Ronald Reagan's amnesty.
Huh? You can't make this up. You can't make this up, but it gets even sweeter, okay? It gets even sweeter, all right? The cherry on top is not enough. We need fudge on this bad boy. We need fudge. They then go on to say that, they're asked, hey, are you in fear that you may get deported? What do you think about that? And they're like, no, not us. We different, okay? We're different. Because they believe that when asked, well, what makes you different about you right now who came here illegally and the people coming in currently, right now, presently? What's the difference? Oh, we know criminals, okay? We know they criminals. They come in here, they doing crime. We know criminals.
They see themselves as different from migrants crossing the border today. In what way do you think they're different?
The people that are coming here are the criminals. The ones that did something bad in their country, they're running away from their law.
Ironic.
Fam, come here. Come closer. Do you understand that you entering the country illegally makes you a criminal? Stupid. Do you understand that? Does that not click through your head? It's crazy. It's the same thing that I hear with the Sambos on the right talking about, well, I'm not like them Negroes, okay? I'm one of the good ones. This is the same thing that's happening. They came here illegally, were granted amnesty, but they think that they're better than those who are coming right now because they're not criminals. You are a criminal. You are a criminal. Just like they are coming over here who are criminals. You're the same thing.
He's out of line, but he's right.
Then it gets even crazier because they're asked, right? What do you think about your family members? Because you guys have family members that are real close relatives that they're here illegally. Do you think they're going to be deported? These mofos are talking about, no, they not criminal. They work hard.
Despite having close family members who are undocumented,
Migrant invasion.
they don't believe they'll end up in Trump's crosshairs. When you hear Trump promise mass deportations, do you worry about them?
Yes and no. Because the ones that I know, they're doing good. They're not breaking any laws.
I believe he's going to start deporting all the bad people.
I'm not gonna lie. When Trump does mass deportations, okay, and the only reason I was against it because I was like, this man ain't gonna do it because he's never gonna get Congress, okay? Democrats gonna stop him in the Senate. That's no longer a problem, ese. No problemo, amigo. So when they start getting rounded up, okay, and they start getting kicked out, I'm gonna be like Cartman, bro, and lick their tears.
Yes! Yes! Oh, let me taste your tears, Scott. Your tears are so yummy and sweet.
Delicioso, delicioso. Because this is some of the most stupid, unhinged, deranged mentality that I can even fathom, bruh. Like, to think that you believe you're better than other people who did the same exact thing that you did because you believe that they're criminals, and that even though that you have family close to you, you think they're not going to get deported because they work hard? Have you not listened to anything the man said? I don't know what to tell. These people are stupid, bro. They're stupid. And you know, it just is what it is. They're gonna suffer the consequences. And nobody's gonna care, bro. Nobody. Especially not black people. Okay, I'm just gonna let you know that's not gonna happen, bro. You on your own. So it's really hilariously sad, bro. It's sad, but it's hilariously sad to hear these people say these things. They're like, oh no, I'm one of the good ones. He's not gonna touch me. Look, freaking Juan has a job. He's not gonna touch him. Juan came here illegally, pimpin'. Illegally. That makes you a criminal in the eyes of the law. The only party that's actually been saving you right now has been the Democrats. They're the only party that been having as far as the sanctuary cities that have been like, yo, we're not gonna work with ICE. Bro, do you not know what's about to happen? Oh, amigo, oh, adios, adios. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Like I said, I hope your IQ didn't plummet too severely after listening to this stupid stuff. I hope you're still doing okay. All right. I hope you still have basic cognitive functions that are, you know, you can move and say hello and interact. Because man, that was a new type of dumb. That was a new type of dumb. I think that may be a virus. I've heard of COVID. I think they may have stupid virus. I think that's what it is. And I think we need a vaccine immediately. All right. Goodness gracious. If you happen to disagree, you know where to find me, because I really don't know what the either or is. Okay. I don't know. You're going to have to tell me. Friday through Sunday, disagreement day, you call in and we'll duke it out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment. Let me know what you guys think, and subscribe and all that fun stuff. Until next time, guys. Adios.